This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it, man, I know it, I know.
All right, so let's set this up. Let's set the groundwork before we bring on Vanessa. So for those of you that haven't necessarily followed the story, we'll give a little bit of the groundwork. So first, let's talk about the Bilzerian fiasco, right? So Bilzerian calls her a hoe, says, "Shut up, hoe, nobody knows you." After she basically says why are they signing him? It's not necessarily a good thing. She's disappointed. Says, "Quiet hoe, nobody knows you." This tweet now will live on in infamy forever. The community kind of doesn't take kindly to him, but doesn't necessarily go super to bat, for Vanessa. After that, we don't necessarily hear anything from Gigi directly concerning Dan Bilzerian until she, as in Vanessa, gets fired from Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when they finally make some sort of contact with Vanessa, and they send her a message, effectively just firing her, saying you've broken terms and conditions of our contract, and you must have saw this coming, and effectively just removed her from the affiliate deal.
Because the fact of the matter is, it's not like people weren't championing for Vanessa all along the way. It's more so that there were prominent voices championing against her, right? Mm-hmm. So for every 10 guys that are out there doing their best to try to uplift somebody like Vanessa, or even just women in poker as a whole, there's a Doug Polk who has 100x the audience that's just saying, right, this is ridiculous that you're framing it this way. And that's hard to overcome.
The Sunday Million 15th anniversary winner, not afraid to call out your shit, ACR superstar pro Vanessa Kade.
Hi.
1.5 million. How are you feeling?
I probably could not possibly be feeling any better.
You rich.
I still have the cashier open. I'm just looking at that 1.5 M.
It's still in your account?
Yeah.
Oh, Vanessa,
I haven't done anything yet.
We have to get in Bitcoin immediately.
We're gonna figure it out. I've never been in this spot before. I don't know what to do with it yet.
Some of the famous hands, the hands that will go down in the history books, were you calling with ace queen, and the 7 rips up on the flop, and it's the 7 comes on the flop. You're probably seeing the tournament just completely just flashing before your eyes.
Yeah, 100%. I feel though, when I shoved that Jack 8 and I just got super short, that I kind of accepted that if this is the end of the tournament, and I forget how much we had locked up at that point, 250K or 225K, that if this is it, it's still an amazing score, and I just have to accept it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and do the best that I can. And I feel once I got that low and had considered that and been in that spot where I'm this could just be over, that I felt a little bit more fearless about the rest of the hands. It's almost once you get in that point of really being threatened, that the rest of it feels less scary for some reason. So yeah, so I saw the 7, and I obviously my stomach lurches, and then it's just queen on the turn right away. I'm holy shit, thank God.
So there was one hand that you didn't expect to have happened, I'm sure, right? Because most of the time your opponent's gonna fold.
Yes.
But he didn't this time, and that was the ace king versus 5s.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna shove 5s. Do you expect to just get a fold a ridiculous amount of the time?
You're supposed to fold so much of your range in this spot because of the other short stack there. So the whole reason you rip 5s there, at least the whole reason I rip 5s, is because you're supposed to fold so many hands. And I haven't run this, but I feel ace king is a fold there. I'm pretty sure.
No.
So the cards are running.
You don't think so?
Well, I think he's just probably supposed to open shove if he's planning on raise folding, but Ace King 3-handed, even with ICM pressure, it's just ahead of your reshove range when you're chip leader. That's my best guess.
Okay. I'm gonna check out that spot later, but like I know he's supposed to fold pretty wide with the other guy there.
Yeah, no. He's supposed to be folding a ton. In which case, like if Ace King becomes a bad call off, then he should just be open shoving it. But there really isn't any way that he should be putting Ace King in the muck pre, I don't think, unless he's just making pretty egregious errors.
How did you feel as the cards are running out?
So I was just like jarred by the fact he like snapped off, and I think it took me until the turn to like realize that he even called and he was on a high card, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm looking back at the board, I'm like, we're still good right now, like holy shit, and then and I just bricked out. I'm like, thank God, like.
All right, we're gonna play sound, and I want you to just after this clip to just like come back with like your raw emotion after you hear these sounds. Okay, so like we're gonna play this.
Okay.
Vanessa Kade, huge advantage, 1.2 million. Taliban is barely a 10 big blind stack, all in with King 9 against 8s. 8s are holding, and 8s hold, and we have a winner. This is over. The Sunday Million 15th anniversary played to its conclusion, and it is Canadian poker pro and streamer Vanessa Kade who takes it down for $1.5 million.
When that happened, like I just sat there and like froze, and then like I just got really emotional all of a sudden, and I had like a little tear go down my cheek, and then I was crying for a little bit because like this has been like a really long road for me, and then just like it felt like a couple years of pent up frustration of just being in a lot of big spots and getting pretty unlucky in a few spots, just like released all at once, where it's just like, holy shit, like 70,000 player field, and this is the one where like everything just goes right, and like unbelievable feeling. And so like it's been like a weird road for me, and I don't exactly know what the next step is. Like I'd love to be playing like high rollers eventually one day, and like I don't think I'm there yet where I could be profitable necessarily in like, you know, $10,000, $25 or $25,000 buy-ins and stuff, but like I hope to get there, and like I don't feel like I'm massively far off. Like I'm, you know, I need some more work for sure, but it's possible is what I'm saying, I think.
It's only a month away, Vanessa. You could do a lot of work in a month. You know, there's a 25K in Florida coming up.
To me, like the GG poker stuff is just like a really separate subject. And I remember like one of the last things I said last week to like one of the chip race guys who I've been talking to like a lot about this GG poker stuff is that like this is not like really this is not what I want to be known for. Like it's unfortunate that like basically I'm going to be branded with this forever no matter what. And like what I really want to be doing is like crushing poker and winning tournaments, and like that's what I would hope people would like recognize me for. And I just know like the way that it was playing out, it's like, it just felt like anytime my name is brought up, like this is what people are going to think of, like GG poker and misogyny. And whether that means that like I'm an annoying social justice warrior, or whether they think that's a good thing, like this is the thing. It's not going to be like about whether or not I'm good at poker or anything like that. So like to basically say that and be like, I kind of want to be done with this stuff, to be honest. Like I would like to like make the poker environment better for like not just women but like everybody, if I can, like if I have any way to contribute towards that. But also like I would prefer like that's not just my thing. Like I want to be good at poker and winning. So like that's what I would be hoping to be on like podcasts for, like in social media and stuff, is like for wins, not for peripheral stuff, you know? So to have this big win come like right after I'm kind of like making that point is just like absolutely incredible. Cause like, you know, I'm hoping it's going to like turn the attention more towards this and like things that I feel like are more maybe positive and constructive and like, than the stuff that, you know, we've been dealing with the last few months.
I'm just curious, like how you see your responsibility moving forward now as a sponsored pro and somebody who just really bolstered their resume.
I mean, I don't feel like responsibility is the right word. I'm sure like, I mean, there's a lot of people pulling for me to like, hopefully continue to speak up about things that could be improved and stuff. But like, that like outside pressure almost feels irrelevant to me. Like I've felt really strongly about a lot of this stuff myself, and I feel like I owe it to myself now that I have a platform in which I feel like I maybe am a little bit less vulnerable to, like you said, being smacked down by a louder voice who maybe disagrees and stuff. That I could actually like maybe get some messages out there and like actually talk with casinos or like venues, online sites and stuff like that, and like actually make changes that like I want to do those things, like regardless of outside pressure. If there are ways that I can think of or somebody suggests or whatever that I could influence something for the better, like why not? Yeah, I definitely would like to do that.
Is there anything that like you wish you could have communicated better, or any nuance that was lost through Twitter, or basically given the ability to speak to an audience, like, is there a message that you would prefer to get out that, may be getting misconstrued otherwise?
Yeah, actually, there are a couple of things that people seem to be confused about pretty consistently, and I feel like I've explained it a few places, but there still seems to be some confusion. So, like, there's some people who definitely think that, like, the reason I didn't like Dan Bilzerian is because he posts, like, pictures of naked women or whatever, but it's the internet. There's naked women all over the internet. Like, this is not my issue with it. Like, I mean, there's like a small issue with basically paying women to up his own social cred using them, right? Like that's kind of lame, but it's not the main thing. Like for me, if you go and like read, there's like, you can easily do a Google search and there's just dozens of things where he is like on record, on video, like kicking a woman in the face, getting like kicked out of a club. He brags about another incident where he kicked a woman on like our own 2+2 forums. There's like just like dozens of tweets where he's just like really degrading to women, saying like women are like dog shit. They're easier to pick up as they get older, and like ugly women hurt my eyes. And then like on International Women's Day, he has like the naked chick on her hands and knees or whatever, bent over, like eating his dinner off her. And like the caption says, Happy International Women's Day. They're useful for so many things. Like it just like, and like, I think even worse, particularly in our poker space, like back when Kate Hall was playing Dentali, he commented like on Twitter to her, like, I don't know who you are, but I would bet on you to lose because you're a woman and women can't play poker, basically. And I'm just like all of these things is like, this is not the guy. Like, this is not the guy you want in poker to be representing, like for people to look up to, and like let's bring his whole crowd in who like, a lot of them are just decent people, but then a lot are gonna like really reflect this kind of like value set or whatever, right? And like, do we really want them in our pool? Like, yeah, they're probably like easy money. I don't know. Like, it just feels like a really huge like compromise of values if you have them.